Okay, so let's wait 1 more minute for the others. So if I'm not mistaken, we're at least 23 on part 1. Right now, we're at, yeah, 20 participants. So meron pang tatlo. Okay, so while waiting, maybe you guys have a question or clarification so far? Okay, so none from Mr. Daman. I forgot to ask. So kanina pala dapat tinanong ko. Is there anyone here who's familiar with DevOps? Have you guys heard the word DevOps? Anyone? Hello, hello. Anyone who's familiar with DevOps? None? Okay, so maybe wala. Alright, so who's first time to heard the word DevOps? Well, I'm sure maybe narinig nyo na but you just don't know what it is. Okay, so first time ni Mr. Samuel. Same with Mr. Joshua. Same with Mr. Brian. Okay, so let's just say that most of you uh, don't know the word DevOps until today. Well, anyway, so yeah, hindi kasi siya common. Okay, that is one thing in here. Okay, we don't really apply this one, especially in small projects. Okay, so kapag ganit na lang, kapag less than hundreds, okay, yung team nyo, okay, this is pwede naman siguro. Okay, I think it's already possible. Okay, but your team that is composed of, let's say your company that is composed of 100 employees should be into big, uh, big projects. So when we say big projects, let's say globally or international projects na tayo. Let's say like YouTube, Google, Netflix, ano pa ba? Basta yung mga sobrang lalaking project. Okay? Kasi kapag hindi ka pang international, parang pan pa rin yun eh. Medyo maliit pa rin siya eh. Ano bang tawag na term doon? I forgot the term. Pero hindi pa siya considered as a big company. It's still a small company. Okay? Well, anyway, so let's now continue. So, 22. So, merong isang uh, nawala. Anyway, so going back here. So, yeah, parang ganun yung scenario. Okay, so gagawa yung dev team ng code, magde-develop ng maraming features, and then ibabato sa QA team, and then they will check it. And then eventually para magkakaroon ng problema kasi nga dun sa testing environment kasi magkaiba sila ng let's say platforms or operating system, mga plugins, mga ano pa dependencies or mga uh, kung ano pa man yung mga naka-install doon na wala pala doon sa isang system. Okay, so may mga ganun. And eventually the issues get work and the QA kicks the debug new release over the wall stops. Okay. Dito naman, yes, magkakaroon tayo ng mga changes pero, since napag-usapan na nila yung mga features na, dapat ganito lang. So, if possible, nililimitahan nila yung mga, sobrang lalaking changes. Okay, kasi dito magkakaroon ng problema. Kapag nag-demand yung ops team na let's say dapat ganito 'to, hindi dapat ganyan, okay, magkakaroon ulit ng problema. Okay, so dapat kung may ipapabago, maliit lang. Okay. So, maliban na lang kapag talagang maling-mali yung ginawa ng development team. Okay. Pero hindi kasi siya makakapasa sa or hindi mo na siya mapapasa sa ops team kapag, hindi pa na-check ng QA. So, dapat yung QA na yung, nagche-check kung mali ba talaga yung isang functions or features na dapat may major changes. Okay. And then ops says the dev provided them faulty artifacts. Then dev says everything worked fine in the test environment. Then the fire drills begin to debug the system and get production stable. Okay, so eventually they will be able to solve that. So kung ano man yung method nila, they will be able to solve that one. Okay, and then after that, of course, after the operation or testing, so the production environment isn't devs and QE's responsibility. So itong production environment is now the deployment team. Okay, when it comes to official, let's see, product that they are going to deploy. Okay. So ito, labas na dito yung QA and then devs team. So bahala na sila kung paano sila mag-reproduce into a different, let's say, compatible to sa Windows 7, 32-bit, compatible to sa Windows 7 at 64-bit. Okay, and so on and so forth. So sila na bahalang manipulate ng data or nung code kung paano nila gagawing compatible yon sa mga environment na meron tayo ngayon. Okay. So another thing in here is the software team meets prior to starting a new software project, and then the team includes developers, testers, operations, and support professionals. So this team plans how to create working software that is ready for deployment. Okay, so we call that one software team under the DevOps, or in other words, let's just say that the development team. Okay, so ito sila. And then each day, new code is deployed as developers complete it, and then automated testing ensures that the code is ready to be deployed. So, gaya ng sabi ko, magkakaroon ng automated testing, magkakaroon ng beta testing. So, yun, hanggang sa pumasa na yung code mismo or yung mismong project. Okay. And then, blah, blah, blah. May sequence pala, may bad. So, sabi ko na tinetest siya ng via automated and then via a small number of users. So, mauuna muna yung automated. Okay, kapag pasado na sa automation, let's say 1,000 times na tinest using that tool or that software, magkakaroon tayo ng parang beta testing. Well, of course, manggagaling din sa company nila siguro. Okay. So, i-deploy nila to sa small number of users. And then hanggang sa na-monitor nila, na-check nila, stable ba, wala na bang problema, then saka na nila talaga i-deploy officially. Okay? So here's the goal of DevOps. Just like any other methodology out there, okay, it's quite the same with the DevOps. Okay, so it improves collaboration between all stakeholders from planning through delivery and automation of the delivery process in order to improve deployment frequency, achieve faster time to market, lower failure rate of new releases, shorten lead time between fixes, improve mean time to recovery. Okay. And then, according to the 2015 State of DevOps report, okay, high-performing IT organizations deploy 30 times more frequently with 200 times shorter lead times, and then they have 60 times fewer failures and recover 168 times faster. So, in other words, it's like way back 2015, they're like claiming or saying that using a DevOps practice, okay, will give you a deployment of 30 times more frequently, okay, mas mabilis, 30 times, 200 times shorter lead times. Okay, parang sinasabi nilang sobrang laki ng improvement kapag ito yung practice na i-adapt ng isang company. Okay? So, parang ganun yung gusto nilang sabihin. Like, instead of using this agile development methodology, why not use this one? It's already proven that it's saying here that when it comes to high-performing IT organizations, ito yung parang magiging result ng, let's say, on how you create, build, and then test, and then deploy your project. Okay? So, where are you on the DevOps continuum? So, parang alamin natin kung saan ka ba nababagay. Okay. So, what is continuum? Means a continuous sequence in which adjacent elements are not perceptibly different from each other, although the extremes are quite distinct. So, the DevOps continuum is a helpful way to look at the different aspects of DevOps. So, yung si continuum, meron kasi tayong continuous na parang development, continuous integration, continuous planning, continuous testing. So, saan ka ba? Okay, so saan ka ba nababagay? Are you on a planning phase? Okay, so are you good with ideas? Okay, thinking of a new, okay, and then better ideas? Okay, or are you on a collaborative development? Okay, or are you on a continuous testing team? Continuous release and development, continuous monitoring, okay, collaborative customer feedback and optimization. Well, of course, ito, kahit isa or dalawa or lima lang na tao, kunin niya lang yung summary. Okay. So, yeah, but it is still under the company. Okay. Though, ito kasi parang maliit na portion na lang. Kukunin niya lang yung parang feedback ng mga, actually, summary, parang ganun. Kasi mostly online naman yung feedback eh. Okay, via CSV file niya lang and then isa-summarize niya lang kung ilan ba yung rating, is it good, etc. etc. Okay. But mostly, ito yung parang tinatanong, nasan ka talaga dito sa DevOps Continuum? Okay. Well, anyway, so ito yung parang stages natin when say DevOps Continuum. So we have this automation perspective and then culture perspective. And then we have the continuous integration and then continuous delivery and then continuous deployment. So kung papansin niyo, dito pa lang yung parang, let's say, hindi lang naipakita planning phase and then building phase, and then continuous integration of each module or each features. So eto maliit pa lang kasi syempre dito pa lang nag-uumpisa hanggang sa palaki ng palaki, of course. The more that you integrate things, it will become bigger and then hanggang sa naging dito na siya sa deliberation area and then hanggang sa parang kino-compile na lahat-lahat hanggang sa mapunta na tayo sa deployment team. Okay, which let's say the total uh, or the final project already. Okay. And then, bago natin mabuo to, okay, so meron tayong dalawa. Okay, we have the left side area, which is the automation perspective, and then the right side area, which is the culture perspective. So, ito, dalawa to na mag-check, hindi pwedeng isa lang. So, automation perspectives, I think walang problema kasi via tools lang to, via software. Kapag napasa niya lahat, ah, wala ng problema, okay na lahat. However, in culture perspective, so ito subjective na to, kasi dito pwedeng according from this person, ganito dapat, and then according from this another person, ganito dapat. So dito na maraming magkakaiba ng ideas. Okay, so that is why pagdating sa pag-create ng isang project, 55% on the bottom left, okay, which is mostly done in here. Okay, parang china-check lang kung ano yung mga bugs, may error ba, and so on and so forth. And then 20%, 26% on the bottom right. Okay, so dito, of course, pinapatest nila to sa mga user, though mas maliit siya compared dun sa testing phase na 55% ng automation natin. And then 14% on the top left, and then 5% on the top right. Okay? So when we say, let's say upper top left, okay, and then upper top right, ito na yung mga nagawang projects. Okay, nandito na sila. Okay. So, sabi dito, okay, the top right is the Netflix, Etsy, Amazon, Pinterest, Flickr, IMVU, and then Google. Meaning, ito yung parang mga approved ng mga, let's see, customer natin. Okay, so that is why we call this one DevOps Nirvana kasi na-meet nila yung customer's need. However, on the left side area, which is mas marami, okay, kaysa sa iba, kaysa sa 5% ng top right kasi parang ito yung mga projects or mga applications or mga websites na hindi nila nami-meet yung needs, okay, or mga let's say mga reports na sinasabi ng customer nila. Like they don't care about their customers, ganun na lang. Okay, so only a few companies is really taking care of their customers kasi alam nilang sila yung bumubuhay doon sa application nila. Pero yung iba, since I think big companies na rin naman na sila, okay, panatag na sila kung ano yung meron sila. So they don't aim to what we call the nirvana. Okay, yung pag sinabi kasi nirvana, parang heaven na to eh. Parang ito na yung reach final destination. Parang ganun. Okay, parang kung saan perfect na lahat. Okay, so dito meron pa rin konting flaw. So both of them, okay, itong nasa upper right and then upper left, both of them are good uh, uh, product or project since natapos naman nila tong phase na to, continuous development, continuous delivery, continuous integration, and so on and so forth. Okay. So yeah, so thought leaders, coaches, and bloggers often portray a vision of DevOps in the upper right corner, and they will often have a strong bias towards either DevOps culture or automation tools. While it is okay to have esoteric debates about whether DevOps culture or tools are more important, so the reality is that you can't have DevOps without tools, and all the tools in the world won't help if you don't have a strong supporting culture. Okay? So even though perfect na siya via system wala ng bugs, still needs a culture perspective. Okay? So dapat makuha mo pa rin yung taste mismo ng customer mo. So kahit nasabihin na natin pangit yung taste nila pero yun nga yung parang needs nila or gusto naman nila, then I think walang problema. So that is why this one is quite a little bit biased. Okay, it's like what we have mentioned in here. So another important point is that moving up and to the right takes the time, and many organizations' first step will be a blend of culture, tools, and continuous integration. So don't be discouraged when you read an article about how if you're not doing DevOps unless you're deploying all the way into production without any human intervention. So kapag hindi tao yung gagamit, okay, maybe it's an automated thing or computer or an AI, well, pwede ka dito sa purely automated perspective. But of course, in our world, yung mga gumagamit ng projects is humans. Okay, so dapat meron tayong blend of cultures, and then yan, so dapat meron at meron to. Okay. So hindi mo makokompleto yung isang project without the blend of culture of the people who's going to use your project. Okay. So na-mention na to kanina, naulit lang. So I will not discuss this one anymore. And here are the phases of DevOps maturity. Okay, so there are several phases to DevOps maturity. Here are a few of the key phases you need to know. So we have the waterfall deployment. So before continuous integration, development teams would write a bunch of code for 3 to 4 months. So see, sabi dito ng let's see, if you're going to use a waterfall development, 3 to 4 months kang magko-coding. Well, that depends on the company or on how large the project is. Okay. So then those teams would merge their code in order to release it. And then the different versions of code would be so different and have so many changes that the actual integration step could take months. Okay, so ganun din kapag naipasa mo na sa QA team or sa ops team kung paano nila i-compile or i-build. Okay, so it will also take months before they can finalize everything. Okay, due to dependencies, okay, different platforms, okay, maraming mga factors kung bakit ganun katagal. Okay, so this process was very unproductive. Okay, so sa waterfall deployment to So uh, continuous integration, kapag meron ka nito, okay, when we see continuous integration, it's like you are now lessening, okay, this kind of 3 months of waiting, 4 months of waiting, and then another 1 month of waiting. Okay, so dito pa lang kasi sa continuous integration or sa DevOps, okay, under DevOps, uh, meron na talaga mga teams na gumagawa ng features lang and then ini-integrate na sa isang feature. Let's say 1 plus 1, okay, and then 2, say 2 features. Okay, so of course, bago nila ma-combine yon, may mga changes probably, okay, due to dependencies, due to imports, due to kung ano man yung mga dapat pang gawin, okay, bago nila mapagana yung dalawang yon together. Okay, so in here, when we see continuous integration, it is a practice of quickly integrating newly developed code. So pag may bago, ibabato mo kagad. Pag may bago, ibabato mo kagad. And then, bahala na yung compiler paganahin yon as one. So let's just say that under this dev team, let's say 50 of them, or yeah, 50 of them, and then let's say hinati pa yung 50 na yon into 10 groups each. So let's say a total of 5 groups, and then each group will create a feature. So let's say a total of 5 features. Ibabato nila yon lahat sa QA team or dito sa buong ops team na to. And then bahala na silang mag-compile as one. Okay, so dito pumapasok yung CI natin na tinatawag natin, or continuous integration. Hanggang sa wala na rin magiging problema, since natetest na rin kagad nila kung may problema ba or wala. So DevOps didn't come up with this term. So continuous integration is an agile engineering practice originating from the extreme programming methodology. So they still adapted this one on agile development. Okay, and then the term's been around for a while, but DevOps has adopted this term because automation is required to successfully execute continuous integration. Continuous integration is often the first step down the path toward DevOps maturity. Okay, and then the continuous integration process from a DevOps perspective involves checking your code in, compiling it into usable, and then often binary executable code, and running some basic validation testing. Okay, and then we also have here continuous delivery. So, bago yung deployment, meron munang delivery. So, continuous delivery is an extension of continuous integration. So, we call this one DevOps Stage 2. It sits on top of continuous integration. When executing continuous delivery, you add additional automation and testing so that you don't just merge the code with the main code line frequently, but you get the code nearly ready to deploy with almost no human intervention. It's the practice of having the code base continuously in a ready to deploy state. So, ayun, more testing. Okay, after testing, after merging, tapos tinest nila sa continuous integration, continuous delivery will add another testing phase. Okay. So parang ito na yung parang final testing phase before the official deployment. Okay. So ready to deploy state. And then finally, we have here the continuous deployment. So continuous deployment, not to be confused with continuous delivery. So we call this one now the DevOps Nirvana kasi ito na yung final project wherein approved na ng lahat, wala ng problema. So it is the most advanced evolution of continuous delivery. It's a practice of deploying all the way into production without any human intervention. So teams that utilize continuous delivery don't deploy untested code. Instead, newly created code runs through automated testing before it gets pushed out to production. So, in other words, bago natin i-deploy lahat-lahat na, so dito manggagaling, or dito parang ito na yung magdidikta kung okay na ba lahat. And then hanggang sa official na okay na sila, and then let's say, ayan, okay na sila, gawa na sila, let's say, one of them, let's see, is a Netflix, Etsy, Amazon, Pinterest, Flickr, or any other big companies. Okay? So, ito yung mga gumagamit ng practice na ng continuous deployment. So, kapag merong, let's say, update na kailangan, yung team nila, ina-update nila, syempre agad-agad. And then, ide-deploy din nila agad-agad. So, let's just say that every day, okay, nagtatrabaho itong mga to para gawin yung next update. Okay, or yung next upgrade or improvement ng kanilang system mismo. Well, of course, that always depends on the customer's need. So, doon pumapasok yung parang QA natin. Okay, quality assurance. So while DevOps nirvana is often not the end goal for most enterprises, they often focus on moving towards continuous delivery. Okay. So what are the values of DevOps? Okay. So DevOps focus heavily on establishing a collaborative culture and improving efficiency through automation with DevOps tools. So under these values, we have two in total. Okay, so we have the so-called tools in DevOps and then culture in DevOps. So yun pa rin yung dalawang yon yung nahati dito. So automation perspective is the tool, okay, without a human intervention. And then culture perspective is with human intervention. Okay, parang dito napapasok yung tao versus let's say AI, okay, or kung ano man yung automated bot na yon na nagtetest ng system. Okay. Oops, nasan na yun? Okay, so while some organizations and people tend to value one more than the other, the reality is it takes a combination of both culture and tools to be successful. Okay, lalo na sa culture. Okay, so even though napaka-perfect ng system mo, wala nang bugs, okay, pero hindi mo naman kinonsult yun sa customer mo, wala din. So vice versa, kahit na let's say sobrang ganda ng system mo coming from your customer pero marami namang bugs, okay, well eventually uh, ayaw na rin nila kasi nga nagkakaroon sila ng maraming problema, okay, with your system. Okay, so let's talk about DevOps culture first. So in here, DevOps culture is characterized by increased collaboration, decreasing silos, shared responsibility, autonomous teams, improving quality, valuing feedback, and increasing automation. So I mentioned a while ago that when we say culture, it's only talking about the feedbacks of your customer. But here are the other things that you guys need to consider when it comes to DevOps culture. Okay, so we have here the increased collaboration. So hindi lang mismo yung customer mo. Okay, dapat kayo din as a team, okay, under one DevOps team. Dapat dun pa lang sobrang ganda na ng collaboration niyo. So at kayo mismo yung parang key, okay, kung paano ba magiging perfect yung project. Okay, kasi kapag may sama kayo ng loob sa isa't isa, let's say itong QA team, sinabotage niya yung dev team, kaya pinasa niya na kagad sa ops team. May mga issues pa pala, may mga bugs pa pala. Then, as a result, magkakaroon kayo ng poor product. Kasi, dito pa lang, meron ng conflict eh. Okay? Hindi ginagawa ng each team yung trabaho talaga nila. Okay? So, parang ganun. Okay? Basta, dapat sa umpisa pa lang, okay na lahat. And then, decreasing silos, of course, liliit mismo yung scope nyo, imbis na kasi pag sinabi natin silo, parang pipeline siya. Okay, wherein mas malaki, mas maganda kasi mas maraming nagagawa. Pero kapag hindi maganda yung collaboration nyo dito, well, of course, liliit yung mga bagay-bagay na pwede nyong gawin. Like, for example, dapat nakapag-test na kayo ng 5 projects, pero dahil may problema, isang project lang yung na-test nyo or isang project lang yung na-deploy nyo and so on and so forth. Okay? And then shared responsibility, autonomous teams, improving quality, etc. etc. Okay, so those are the things that you guys need to consider when it comes to DevOps culture. So another thing here is agile methods are a more holistic way of delivering software. Agile development teams measure progress in terms of working software, and product owners, developers, and testers and users, people work closely together with the same goals. And then DevOps is just adding the operations mindset and maybe a team member with some of those responsibilities into the agile team. Whereas the before DevOps progress is measured in terms of working software, with DevOps progress is measured in terms of working software in the customer's hands. So to achieve this so-called DevOps culture, devs and ops must break down the silos and collaborate with one another. Okay, so ito talaga yung pinaka-key point, just like what I mentioned a while ago. In this DevOps team, dapat sobrang ganda ng collaboration. Okay, so sa isang project kasi kapag merong isang tao, okay, na may sama ng loob or merong problema, well, hindi na magiging smooth, okay, yung yung mga ginagawa niyo or yung how productive you are, okay? So, kung may sama ka ng loob, dapat sabihin mo na kaagad na napahiya ka dahil hindi gumagana yung features mo and so on and so forth. Well, anyway, so you guys will know this one soon kapag nagtrabaho na kayo sa isang company, lalo na kapag into development, okay, into software development kayo. So magkakaroon kayo ng development team and then operation team or IT operation team. Okay. So let's now talk about DevOps tools. So this one is very straightforward. Okay, when you see DevOps tools, it is the monitoring tools, version tools, management tools, test tools, build system tools, application development tools. Okay, so lahat sila mga software. So under this one, okay, ito yung mga ginagamit natin para i-test kung may mga bugs, may mga errors, and so on and so forth. And then under this DevOps tools, of course, meron din tayong mga automated, okay, na continuous integration. Okay, so system mismo yung gumagawa nun, hindi tao. Though, pwede naman, kaso nga lang matrabaho, lalo na kapag from time to time may changes. So that is why we have this tool to let this application compile, okay, this feature to this feature to this feature or to this module to this module, and so on and so forth. Okay, so even continuous delivery, it has its own tools. So automatically, it's automated. Even the continuous deployment, okay? So, pwede ka rin gumamit ng tool, okay? So, hindi ko pala napakita kanina. Let's go back to the one that has a picture. Okay. So, under this one, so these are the tools that we are using, okay, under this DevOps. So, planning, coding, so meron tayong Git, okay, GitLab, GitHub, okay, we have Jira, okay, we have Eclipse, and then under build, we have this Maven, so hindi ko alam kung ano to. We have Gradle, okay, so ito yung mga common when it comes to as a compiler. Okay, and then for testing, we have JUnit, SE, we have the Jenkins for release, Bamboo for release. Under deployment, we have Puppet, Chef, and Ansible, SaltStack, okay, and so on and so forth. Okay, so all of those that you guys are seeing, okay, those are the tools that we can use, okay, under this release, deploy, operate, and then monitor. Okay, so of course, dito sa coding section and then building, parang additional lang to, okay? Ito lang yung parang ginagamit natin just to help us to build something. But when it comes to this operation team, mostly automated na lahat. Okay? So parang hindi na kailangan ng human intervention. Lahat dito sa orange part na to, parang automated na lahat. So mostly configure mo lang and then you let the tool or you let the system do everything. Okay? Anyway, going back to our, oops, para ba ako? Culture, tools. Okay, going back here. So, yeah. And then while all three practices can use the same tools, you will need more tools as you progress through the delivery chain. Okay, so let's talk some tools that is mostly used when it comes to creating a certain project. So ito, alam na alam nyo na to, source code repository, where you can save your entire code, your source code. Okay, so na-mention ko na kanina, GitLab or GitHub, okay, or any other repository website or tools that you can use. Okay, so meron tayong Git, meron tayong Subversion, meron tayong CloudForce, meron tayong Bitbucket, meron tayong PFS. Okay, and then when it comes to building a server, so ito naman parang ito yung check niya kung working ba. Okay, at the same time compiler din siya. Okay, so meron tayong three phase when it comes to building a server. So build, test, and then what is the other one? I forgot. I think it's the deployment or exec, parang ganun. Debugging. Okay, so parang build, test, and then debugging part. So parang ite-test na finally kung working ba talaga yung project. So some popular tools, popular tools we can use is Jenkins, SonarQube, and then Artifactory. Okay. And then under configuration management, so this one defines the configuration of a server on an environment. So popular configuration management tools are Puppet and then Chef. Okay, so this one only occurs when a configuration platform is used to automate, monitor, design, and then manage. Otherwise, manual configuration processes will be done. So in here, in configuration management, supposedly, a human intervention to kasi nga, i-configure mo kung papaano mo siya papaganahin. Pero meron na tayong mga tools wherein it's automatically being monitored, it's being automatically designed and then managed. Okay. Well, hindi ko alam kung papaano. Though parang napaka-advanced na nito, pero meron na, sabi nila. Okay. Hindi ko pa nga lang na-test kasi I haven't created a big project yet. Well, hindi naman hindi pa naman ako expert. Nasa 10% or 20% pa lang ako as a developer. Okay. So maybe kapag nasa 50% ka na, let's say, you're already good with this, let's say in front end, or let's say full stack developer ka na, saka mo lang siguro ma-test itong configuration management. Okay. If you're into data management and so on and so forth. Okay. So, ikaw na yung nag-deal sa middleware or sa back-end nyo mismo. Anyway, so, and then we also have here virtual infrastructure. So, ito parang service na to, okay, wherein you can find it on Microsoft Azure, AWS or Amazon Web Service. Okay, so in here, virtual infrastructures are provided by cloud vendors that sell infrastructure or platform as a service or PaaS. So these infrastructures have APIs to allow you to programmatically create new machines with configuration management tools such as Puppet and Chef. So yeah, just like what we have in here, pwede kayong magkaroon ng or pwede nyo i-test mismo yung project nyo via virtual infrastructure. So, gamit lang kayo ng API, call nyo lang yung API na yon, and then you can now create a new machine to configure a new, let's say, a different parang environment testing area. Okay? So, in here, you can test it on Linux, you can test it on Windows or on Mac. Okay. So, since we don't have enough time again anymore, so we'll just continue the rest on the part 3. Okay, so goodbye for now and then see you guys later.